start. He is now up into second position. He's got himself through and ahead of Jeremy Knight and is now starting to pull a little bit of a gap. The cars behind. So down the Bentley straight they will go, in towards the braking area for Rundle and Nelson. Still continuing to lead the race. Second place car coming through. Here comes Jeremy Knight in second position. Sorry, Sandra began in second place. Jeremy Knight in third position. Fourth and fifth place, which is John Milbank and Brett Sidnicum. Brett Sidnicum looking for the inside line, heading up towards Richie's corner. Isn't quite going to be able to squeeze his way through there. We're also side by side, heading past me now for what will be 6th and 7th position. Philip Tisdale and John Emberson for 6th and 7th place, absolutely together on that particular lap. John Emberson having gained 3 places as well. He started that lap in 10th place. He's now up into 7th place. The big loser on that lap is a car that's now dropped outside of the top 10. Stephen Lockett lost a couple of positions, I'm afraid, on that lap, so no longer does he reside inside the top 10 in what is a 30-minute race for the first of our Aero racing Formula Challenge races. Subsequent advantage that Andrew Thompson has built up after 2 laps of racing, having 13.366 seconds. He's going to lead by 30 minutes is the question, because maybe that's a good, if not all, of the field, such as his pace in the early stages. So he's already heading down the bottom of the Bentley straight. Sander Ingham just heading out of Oggies in second position. They're in third, the best part of 10, a dozen car lengths behind. John Milbank and Brett Sidnicum has also just split itself up very, very slightly. They're not exactly on top of each other anymore as they were a few laps ago. But the way behind the race leader back into side, through. Dominant qualifying this morning, 4 seconds quicker than anything else in Cluster. Here goes our race leader. Simon Arimigan still there in second place. Jeremy Knight still there in third position. Difficult to tell at distance the difference of the cars. Now it is John Milbank from then car. This is the car that's got the white stripes down as that drop. So we go to the rest of the field, and Andrew Thompson now continuing to lead by an ever increased margin. The lead advantage is now 17.2 seconds. Good fight going on now for 14th, 15th, 16th and 17th, just heading past me now, up towards Richie's corner, being headed by Jim Mountain, and at the tail end of that little quartet of cars is the number 42 car, which is Peter Cole. So that's Jim Mountain, then it's Rob Gilmore. After Rob Gilmore we see the next of the cars in that little train being Tony Rivers in his Morgan Roadster, the silver and blue car, and then on the back of that is the 27 car, which is Rob Gilmore, so watch out for that one. Might be fighting for places in the mid-teens, but they are pretty much together as they came over the start-finish line. The advantage having grown to 17.2 seconds now. Heading towards what will very short to be the conclusion of another lap. Andrew Thompson claimed the win at Donington Park by 32 seconds in the end. And that is the largest winning margin we've had in the 4 races that have taken place so far.
had won it on the road, but was excluded for overtaking under yellow flags. It was actually a pit close race between the two of them.
Yeah, Roger Whiteside and Sinclair Tisdale, Paul Vokes and Simon King all befell the same fate. You were at that one then, Josh?
I was, yes.
Yes, yeah, Andrew Thompson claiming that sizable the win then, but as a result of misfortune. They're not broken down into classes in either the programme or on the grid, I'm afraid.
What would have been known as classic cars in the past, anyway. Because obviously missing, like to keep Ireland and Ollie Bryan, like you mentioned earlier on. And I think Philip Goddard, not really usual car either, he's been a baseman at his last season.
Yeah, the classes largely broken down for horsepower in reality. So the horsepower class 1, which is 30 brake horsepower per tonne as a maximum. Cars in class 2 have 300 brake horsepower per tonne. In class 3 it's up to 250, class 4 is 220, class 5 is 190 are the main classes, but neither in the programme or on our grid sheets or on the TSL timing does it break them down into the individual classes for this year.
So it's all been a bit changed as well, because the vision know the different cars. And now they're using the brake horsepower per tonne, which is a good way to do class regulations.
Very good way of doing it then, yeah, absolutely, because the more modified cars that maybe have an older same class as a lesser powered car that maybe has a lighter aluminium based engine nowadays.
Absolutely, that is the way a lot of championships are going. I'm sure you've covered a number where you've got the dynos in the paddock as well, testing the cars to make sure they're pretty split in the regulations, and it's the perfect way of doing it rather than changing the size where you can get enough variety of car around.
Another lap goes and that lap was slightly slower than his previous one. He still set up, not unsurprisingly, the best lap of the race that we've had so far. That came on on the start finish line, so the advantage is going to be well north of 25 seconds, I would have thought this time, or just north. 25.660 seconds is the gap to first and second. Jeremy Knight is still there in third place. Not close enough to attack. John Henderson finished the programme. They're still sitting there in sixth position. Seventh place, just heading past me now, is James Summer. That's there in seventh place. Eighth place is going to be Charlie Goddard. Ninth place is Philip Goddard. And might go on for the final places in the top 10 now, actually, because they have got themselves together. That is number 54, Philip Tisdale, who has lost a place and dropped 10th on that lap. There's now under pressure from another car as well, in danger of losing a further place if he doesn't watch out here, because Stephen Lockett is trying to work his way through, move the number 78 car up inside the top 10 if at all he can. Hasn't managed to do it just as yet though. So we have 17 to go. First of our Aero races, more challenge races. Agostini goes. That's all that I was talking about for 8th, 9th, 10th positions. Has there been a change in that order? Just looking through. No, there's Philip Goddard. So he is still in 9th place. Yeah, 10th and 11th and then the number 78 car in out to Stephen Lockett. Yep.
So just see behind us more, one of the 7th.
For our race leader, Andrew Thompson heads into the book, gets himself amongst some of the traffic, which is Teddy Kilby's car, and he put a lap on them with a good small that time for him. Now that looks like let's see, just spotted it just as the car was recovering. Now, no, they were there's Jeremy Knight, so it's not him, that's for sure. So it must have been Peter Vokes or Tom Richards. So it's a white car rather than the cream-coloured car. Jeremy Knight. Down 9 from Wheelback, they've got 6 from Anderson. Heading through, which is going to be the car of James Summer. And then after James Summer, it's the Goddard, Charlie, then from Philip. And then completing the top 10 is now number 78, which is not. Paul Vokes that had the problem because he said the properties yet come through.
And he's just getting the driver standards flag as well, Mark, which might want to be exceeding track limits.
Well, it was so wide at Oggies, it almost looked like that it had an issue with the car and was attempting to pull off and all of a sudden got going again. But yeah, that was 5 seconds. Yeah, well, that maybe 10 seconds slower, so yeah, it must have been him. Only lost 1 place though, drops to 14th place, car number 23.
He's now just seen that driving standards flag past the line, so presumably it's the fact that it's usually the case.
Yeah, you get away with it the first time, you do it the second time, you get shown the black and the white warning flag. If you do it a third time, you get a 5-second penalty out of your race time. If you do it a fourth, it's a 10-second penalty, in addition to the 5-second penalty. When we say track limits, you're not familiar, there's a white line taking around the world. That is track. However, red and white is also classified as being within the track limit. Once you drop a wheel beyond that curve, or beyond the white line anywhere else where there isn't a curve, you are transgressing the track limit. That is spotted by a mixture of the officials, outside of the corners, and then as soon as you go beyond the third line, the sensor takes a picture, and therefore when you're called to the block of the course, it's very difficult to have a case of making notes, I'm afraid. Andrew Thompson goes through, 7 laps completed, 14 minutes remaining. His lap times have eased off again. He's now lapping about 1.5 seconds slower than he had previously been doing, but a large chunk of it is now all to do with the traffic and where he's beating the traffic. One thing I am is further down. Now John Anderson is sitting in 6th place in the minute car number 89, but he's lapping, or had been lapping, quicker than the car ahead of him. The quickest car that posted his best individual lap of the race, 2 minutes 13.695. Now that's still slower than the race leader Andrew Thompson is doing, but that lap from him is 1.5 seconds quicker than Simon began to be ahead of him in 2nd position. So that's and looking as they work their way through the traffic is playing also in this lap into the hands of the 3rd place car Jeremy Knight. So I think Simon began might find that he's under a little bit more pressure even towards the end of this particular lap. They're just heading down the Bentley straight now. There goes Simon began, and down by, I'd say, about 1.5 seconds possibly, so it's come down by maybe another half a second through the traffic, but that's just me counting and doing it manually. And Nelson, car, the car that's chasing around the circuit is Jeremy Knight. They dealt with the traffic, so they've got a fairly clear run now. He's opened up the gap again between himself and Jeremy Knight. The slightly better handling characteristics probably of the ARB6 more modern car. 1.9 seconds comes down to 1.5, so it has come down by 0.5 per second. 20 miles, Simon began has the advantage in a straight line. Jeremy Knight, I think, has more grunt. Josh?
Not sure if all sounds well with Simon began's car. It was sort of misfiring when he came off throttle going down towards Ritchie's. And at Donington he was going well, and he had car problems there that put him out of the race too. So I'm not sure if something is reoccurring, which is a shame because the car needed to go with Andrew Thompson in the top of the car.
The lap that he just suspension, Simon. It's best up in the race. 54.330, so tending to suggest not, but I will have a listen out for sure next time he comes over the start finish line. So he has a 35.5, almost 35. Still to go. Fight for second and third hotting up as Simon Reed down time by Jeremy Knight. So gap between that there, but also keep an eye towards fourth and fifth again because they've closed right the way back up again. Car number 15, John Millbank, had a really poor lap that time through the traffic and was 3 seconds slower than Brent Syndicate was for the win of the number 16 car. So Brent Syndicate may well possibly be able to move himself back up into fifth position again before too much longer. I would imagine it's all to do with the traffic and the fact that John Millbank just met the traffic in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's running down through the top 10 then with 10 minutes to go. Number 66, Andrew Thompson leads the race. Number 600 again in second place. John Millbank, 5th place is number 16, Brett Syndicate. 6th position in addition to the programme, number 89, John Emberson. 7th place is 22, James Summer. 8th place is number 28, which is Charlie Goddard. 9th place is number 10, which is Philip Goddard. And completing the top 10, already safely through. Now, fight for second, third place, about to go over the start finish line. Has the gap closed any further? As Simon Reed down there to continue. He goes now. Simon's time, not far away from what he has been doing. Another 1.3 seconds quicker with Jeremy Knight behind. So gap second to third now down to 1.3 seconds. We'll take John Bowden. How's the fight for fourth and fifth going on? After poor lap from John Millbank last time through, he has lost out this time through, I'm afraid, and has not come through. So Brett Syndicate now moves up into fourth position. John Emberson, number 89, moves up into fifth position. And is this John Millbank now? No, John Millbank, I'm afraid, has not come through. It's going to be yellow car of 22 now, moves up inside the top 6, which is James Summer. All the way down through the order. Fear that whatever has happened with his car, he's had to retire out on circuit somewhere, saying he lost time on the lap prior. And as I gaze around, there we go. So, can't see the Morgan from there, but then again, crash barriers are about 4 lots of Volco high, so it may well be obscuring a car, could possibly be John Millbank, because it has never successfully come back through again, I'm afraid. Racing Andrew Thompson working his way through the last few bits of traffic. Over the start finish line he comes. Now having dealt with another one of the back markers, the lap down goes from 27. That's everything. She's now been lapped by our race leader. His times are still about a second and a half slower than he's previously been doing. The second and third place battle about to reappear back into sight again, heading around through Coram, still with the Simon Reed began having not that far away, but nowhere near close enough, Jeremy Knight's car. So, back round again, achieving probably about 1.5, 1.6 seconds, and waiting for the head over the start finish line to pick up on that. Here comes the second place car, number 6, Simon Reed began, going through, Jeremy Knight in third position, the gap of 1.1, yeah, goes down to 2 seconds. However, he's 41 seconds behind the race leader. Josh?
Yeah, listening in with the headset off, I think what's happening there is he's not going up a gear before he gets to Richie, so it's hitting on the limiter, and then when he comes off onto it, pops and bangs before he puts the brakes on.
Right, yeah.
So I think, as you say, all is okay. But it's strange that he's that much slower than Andrew Thompson this weekend, where we've seen those cars fairly close in the past.
I mean, Andrew Thompson, I don't know what he had for breakfast this morning, but yeah, it's certainly having an effect, isn't it? Side by side, back to the top of the 10, Philip Goddard goes through, not to the head of Charlie, also goes through ahead of the 22 car of James Summer, so it's taken Philip a long time, Morgan Racer, a long time to start to work his way up through the order. I thought he'd qualified a bit out of position down in 14th position. But, or so. I wasn't sure maybe whether he'd swapped his car and was in a lower classed car because we haven't got the classes identified as we said.